Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I want to make sure that doesn't count towards the 5 minutes I've been allotted. And if you see about 4 people, including Mark Simpson, jumping up, waving their hands, that means it's 4 minutes and 45 seconds. So I've been known to be loquacious, but I'll do my best. Certainly, congratulations to Katie and Vicki and Amber. It's wonderful to join Hall of Fame with such wonderful student athletes. Truly am honored and humbled by this honor. You know, my career, 28 years at Coastal, parallels the Big South Conference. 1986, the first year I coached, was the first year that the conference was fully fledged as a Division I conference. It was different. Dr. Dick Singleton was the commissioner. Used to be easy. A lot of times I'd be leaving Coastal and they'd say, "Can you drop this off at the Big South Conference office?" It was easy. It was on my way home in Myrtle Beach. So it's just amazing. Much credit to Kyle and the Big South entire staff for the miraculous growth that's gone on in this conference. Just amazing. Want to thank Stephanie, Mark. Also a shout out, you know, as in 28 years in the Big South, we had 3 different Big South people who worked as the liaison with cross-country, track and field. Wonderful to work with, starting with Dawn Turner, Chad Cook, who's here tonight, and most recently the wonderful privilege of working with Matt Van Sant. It's been wonderful to work with all of you over the years. And the last 2 years as Coach Emeritus, they've tolerated me being around at the championships as well. And I've tried to be encouraging to all the athletes in the Big South. You know, I had the unique experience of being at every Big South cross-country, indoor track, outdoor track championship, 28-year career, and then the last 2 years I've been able to keep that going. But also, you know, as an avid fan of all sports, to be able to go to Big South events and other sports. I remember the early days, and I think it was '86 when the Big South basketball tournament was at the Anderson, South Carolina Civic Center. History goes back a long way. I want to thank Dr. DeCenzo, his beautiful wife Terry, our athletic director Matt Hogue. You know, I'd counted, I think that I worked with 11 different athletic directors in 28 years, but certainly Buddy Sasser, Warren Kogel, Hunter Yurachek, and now the great privilege, I only got to work with him officially for about 6 months before I retired, but Coastal is in great hands with Matt Hogue. I want to recognize Dr. Dave Vandergriff, who's sitting with Amber. When Amber was 17 years old and she came on her recruiting visit, I was able to introduce her to Dave Vandergriff, who was our volunteer throws coach at the time. And all these years, 18 years later, Dr. Dave is still Amber's coach and very appreciative. Amber's parents, Mike and Yvette, you know, we've been all over the world at different events watching Amber represent the USA, and what a thrill, what wonderful people they are. And want to welcome my guests, looking at the table. First of all, my wife, Rita. If you raise your hand. My daughter, youngest daughter, Kira, and her fiance, Carlos. A dream job for a retired coach. She's a flight attendant for Delta, and he's a pilot. So when people ask, how do I get all over the world, I have to give them credit. Yeah. My brother Scott, who's just been wonderful supporter. And one miraculous thing about the Big South, you know, track and field and cross country, but particularly track and field is a unique sport. Because instead of a competition lasting 3 hours, our competitions last 2 or 3 days. And they go from 9 in the morning till 10 at night. So we have, you know, rather than being on opposing sidelines, we're standing there with our fellow coaches for hours at a time, day after day, meet after meet. And it, you know, it has the opportunity to form a wonderful collegiality and camaraderie. And I'm really happy to say that that's how I experienced it in the Big South Conference. We worked together to support sportsmanship and integrity in athletics. And once the conference championship was over, we became each other's biggest supporters at NCAA national events and took great pride in the success of all Big South athletes. So I'm really thankful, you know, to have that. And some of my closest friends that developed through coaching are at the table. Mr. Larry Kimball and his wife Ruth, and he was for many years the coach at University of Vermont, and now he's locally here at the University of South Carolina, Beaufort. And my dear friend Stan Rosenthal, the toughest coach I battled against in cross country in the 90s. We actually shared co-coach of the decade before he left the University of North Carolina, Asheville, where he won multiple championships and went on to a successful 13-year career at the University of South Carolina. So it just shows, you know, what it's all about. It's the love and camaraderie and developing athletes for the highest. And in closing, I don't see anyone jumping up yet, so I guess I'm okay. But in closing, you know, how wonderful it is to be here with the most successful athlete, in my opinion, that the Big South has ever produced, Amber Campbell, to be inducted. When Kyle called me and said we were being inducted together, what a wonderful thing. I've had the privilege of traveling with Amber. This summer we were in Beijing, China, watching her wear the USA uniform, competing at the Bird's Nest in Beijing. Amber is the most fitting representative of the hundreds and hundreds of student athletes that I've had the honor and privilege of working with. And, you know, when you talk about 28 championships, it's not about me. It's always a team effort, you know, wonderful fellow coaches, wonderful support staff, wonderful administration that's just made it a joy to go to work every day. And how fitting that the greatest of all those athletes of the history of Coastal Carolina track and cross country is getting inducted today too. We'll save more of that. But again, God bless all of you and thank you so much for this honor.